pag patuloy na i-ignore yung subpena, yung invitation ng Congress, sa instruction po ni Inday, huwag niya kayong mag-attend. Il-advise mga kababayan, kung nanonood sa atin yung mga executives ni Inday, makipag-cooperate po kayo sa Congress. Madadamay kayo sa pananagutan sa batas. Huwag na kayong tumulad po kay Atty. Harry Roque. Ito naman po yung bago naming product na binibenta online. Eye Glow Serum, whitening po siya. Tingnan ninyo yung epekto sa aking anak na architect before and now. Yung mga inquiries po ninyo, dumiretso na lang kayo sa kanyang Facebook account, Maravillas. Matindi po mga kababayan, yung mga nadiskobring kababalaghan sa paggamit ng confidential funds ni Inday. Ngayon natin mga kababayan na naintindihan kung bakit gayon na lamang yung galit ni Inday nang tanggalan siya ng confidential funds at kung bakit mahal na mahal ni Inday ang kanyang confidential funds. Parang yung pagmamahal mga kababayan by analogy, pagmamahal ng baboy sa kaning baboy. Ikaw niya talaga, Mr. Maravillas. May kasabihan kasi dito sa amin, sa Bicol. Ang pagkamuot ko ngaya sa imo, siring sa pagkamuot, kanurig sa sagmaw. Ang ibig sabihin sa Tagalog, mga kababayan, ang pagmamahal ko sa iyo ay tulad ng pagmamahal ng baboy sa kaning baboy. Alam naman ninyo po, ang isang baboy kung paano kumain ng kaning baboy. Di ba? Ang tawag dito sa amin, nilaklak. Di ba? Ito yung patunay ng mga kababalaghan, mga kababayan. Malamang mga patunay ng black magic sa lamangka. Sinalamangka mga kababayan yung paggamit ng confidential funds ni Inday. Sabi dyan, no? DepEd under Duterte makes it seem it's funding Armed Forces of the Philippines training, sabi po ng isang congressman. Pinapalabas niya na siya yung nagpundo. Duplication po. Double funding. Tingnan ninyo itong isa pang balita dito. Army executives, no DepEd fund certification if we had known actual use. Kung alam lang namin anya yung actual na pinagamitan, hindi kami nagpalabas ng certification. You see? O ngayon, nadamay sila, mga kababayan. At yung mga executives na hindi pina-attend ni Inday, sinubbe na. At malamang sa malamang mga kababayan, i-contempt sila ng tuluyan. At matulad kay Atty. Harry Roque, naging pugante. Wanted ng batas mga kababayan, wanted ng Congress, nagtatago, pati yung kanyang asawang si Myla. Lumabas na ng bansa, tumakas na po. Yan ang mangyayari dito sa mga tauhan ni Inday po. Tingnan ninyo itong mga balita dito. House hearings on faces conflicting claims on DepEd's confidential funds for leadership summits. Kontra-kontra po yung kwento. Kasi nga po, gawa-gawa man lang. Inimbento lang mga kababayan. Kaya gustong ipaterminate ni Inday yung investigasyon. Unnecessary niya yung investigasyon. OBPH House Panel overprobe into fund use budget. It is unnecessary niya. O ngayon, pasubpi na po lahat ng mga executives ng Office of the Vice President. Kahit ayaw ni Inday, ang mangyayari niyan, sa katigasan ng ulo ni Inday, lahat ng mga executives niya po, magiging wanted ng batas. Lahat yan magiging pugante. At yung iba dyan, ilalaglag na lang si Inday. Mapipilitan silang mag-attend kasi siyempre, huhulihin sila ni General Nicolas Torre. Tutugisin sila mga kababayan ni General Torre bagong bagong hepe ng CIDG. Siya yung naatasan na ngayon, na-promote po. But before ko mga kababayan ibigay sa inyo yung full story ng mga balitang yan, click subscribe muna dito sa ating YouTube channel and hit the notification bell para lagi po kayong updated sa mga kaganapan dito sa ating bansa. Like and share na rin po ninyo ng ating video. At huwag na rin po ninyo na skip yung ating mga commercial ads para tuloy-tuloy lang po ang pag-unlad ng bagong Pilipinas. At itong ating programa mga kababayan, atid sa inyo nitong ating mga sponsors. Firmax Firming and Lifting Cream. Pinapay po sa mga pulses in affected area. Mainam po ito sa mga pains at paninigas ng mga kaso-kasuan. Ito sa mukha naman yung application, anti-aging, Automax po siya. Ito ay Glow Zero mga kababayan. Whitening po siya. Made in South Korea. Ito naman po, Nengxia Red Mix Fruit Drink. Gawa po siya sa goji berry. May anti-cancer properties po siya. At sa mga nagana po ng malinis and spacious fitness gym, pumunta lang po kayo sa aming Colossal Fitness Gym. May Grab Car Rental din po kami. At bills payment po sa aming office. At saka sa mga mahilig po sa mga imported bags, manood po kayo sa live selling ni Madam Eileen Rosales sa kanyang Eileen Closet po. Pati mga shoes, ito yung kanya po. Ito yung kanyang page. Kita ninyo, napakagandang mga online selling po siya. Si Madam Eileen Rosales.
This is
Cellphone number niya po, 773-798-7816. Ayos pa. Balikan natin yung ating kwento mga kababayan. Ito yung report ng Manila Times. House Blue Ribbon, subpenas, OBP executives. So yung mga pinapasubpena mga kababayan na malamang sa malamang magiging pugante pag patuloy na i-ignore yung subpena, yung invitation ng Congress. Sa instruction po ni Inday, huwag niya kayong mag-attend. Il-advise mga kababayan. Kung nanonood sa atin yung mga executives ni Inday, makipag-cooperate po kayo sa Congress. Madadamay kayo sa pananagutan sa batas. Huwag na kayong tumulad po kay Attorney Harry Roque. Si Attorney Harry Roque, sa katigasan ng kanyang ulo, nadamay pati yung kanyang asawa. At next week, kakasuhan na siya ng qualified human trafficking. Non-bailable po. Pag napatunayan siya mga kababayan na nagkasala na ganon, makukulong siya abang buhay. Yan kasi. O ngayon dito, mag-cooperate kayo sa Congress. Pag hindi po, bala kayo sa buhay ninyo. Choice ninyo yan. O ito po, yung mga chief of staff na pinasubpena po ng Blue Ribbon, House Committee on Public Accountability, ay sina Undersecretary Zulaika Lopez, siya yung OBP Chief of Staff, OBP Assistant Chief of Staff, Assistant Secretary Lemuel Ortorio, OBP Director for Administrative and Financial Services, Rosalyn Lopez, OBP Special Disbursing Officer, Gina Acosta, OBP Chief Accountant, Julieta Villa del Rey, and former Department of Education Special Disbursing Officer, Edward Fajarda, who were not able to attend the hearing for the third straight time. Iguradong ipapakontempt na siya mga kababayan afterwards at magiging puganti siya pag hindi siya nag-cooperate sa ating mga congressmen sa congressional hearing. So pag-isipan ninyong mabuti. Pinasubo kayo ni Inday Ang dapat na managot man lang dito po, kasi siyempre hindi man ninyo yan gagawin without the instruction kay Inday. Parang yung mga AGK, pinasubo ni Digong, yung kanyang mga kapulisan, yung iba po na involved sa AGK nakakulong. At malamang ang susunod mga kababayan, itong si Bongo pagkatapos si Bato, kaya nagpatawag din ng sariling investigation. Hindi pumayag si Chisi Escudero. Ano ba? Ngayon, matigas si Inday po. Binanatan niya yung panel investigation. It is unnecessary niya. Hindi po ito obra ang katigasan ni Inday. No one is above the law. Sabi ni Inday, it is unnecessary niya since it does not satisfy the requirement enshrined in the Constitution on inquiries in aid of legislation. Pwede questionin mo sa, sa Supreme Court, baka matulad lang sa final na petition for amparo ni Ari Roque, denied. Yan sabi dito, the ongoing House inquiry niya against the OBP cannot ensure that discussions would be germane to the subject matter right from the time of its referral and commencement of the deliberation, sabi po sa statement ng Office of the Vice President. With due respect niya to the honorable members ng committee, the OBP believes that in accordance with jurisprudence, the invited resource persons are under no compulsions to attend. Be that as it may, OBP officials and personnel have submitted before the committee the replies to the invitation. Hindi obra po yung mga replies po ninyo kasi wala man pong paliwanag. Importante po na matanong. Ayaw kasi ninyong tinatanong. Pumasok kayo sa gobyerno, gumastos kayo ng pera ng gobyerno, pero ayaw ninyong tinatanong kung paano ninyo ginastos. Kaya nga sabi natin mga kababayan, si Inday po hindi bagay na magtrabaho sa gobyerno kasi ayaw niyang tinatanong, ayaw niya ng transparency. Sabi pa ni Inday dito, if the House panel niya chaired by Honorable Joel Chua continues to conduct its own inquiry of issues already pending before the court, this will only create the possibility of conflict between the findings of a legislative committee in the judgment of a judicial tribunal. Such conflicts may unnecessarily create a constitutional crisis between the House of Representatives and the Supreme Court, which will only prejudice the stability of the nation's democratic systems and the broader interests of the public we serve. For the same reasons, the congressional inquiry into these matters under audit may also unnecessarily influence the proceedings before the Commission on Audit or create conflict between the lawmakers and the state auditor, since COA is an independent constitutional body vested with the primary jurisdiction over the matter. Thus, on these premises alone, the inquiry should discontinue. Gustong ipaterminate ni Inday yung investigation sa kanya. Napakababaw po ng rason. O ngayon, matindi po yung mga nadiscover sa congressional hearing. Yan sabi diyan, DepEd under Duterte makes it seem it's funding armed forces training sabi ng isang congressman. Yun ang pinalalabas ni Inday, that they use their confidential funds for a youth training program. When it was the armed forces of the Philippines and local government units that shouldered most of the expenses. Double compensation. Sinolder ng armed forces yung gastos at saka ng local government. Pero charge sa confi. So pinalalabas, ginamit yung confi, confidential funds ni Inday. Pero ang totoo, ang nag-shoulder po, hindi man yung confidential fund. So saan napunta yung pera? Alam na this, mga kababayan. Double payment ang lumalabas. Yan na-discover po sa pagtatanong. This was the observation of Batangas 2nd District Representative Jervil Luistro, which he pointed out at the hearing of the House of Representatives Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability kahapon. So sabi dito sa balita, Luistro reached a conclusion after asking Army Colonel Manaros Boransing what agencies' funds were used for the Youth Leadership Summit, an anti-insurgency campaign for young people in which DepEd supposedly allocated 15 million of its confidential funds. Nangialam po si Inday nang hindi sa kanyang trabaho kasi para lang makahingi ng confidential funds. Trabaho po ng armed forces, trabaho ng LGU. Pinangialaman po ni Inday para lang makagastos ng pera. Ma-justify yung paggastos ng confidential funds. I-duplication na po. Double payments ang lumalabas. Kasi sinolder na pala ng armed forces. Yung Armed Forces naman po, nag-certify. Kaya sabi ng Armed Forces, kung alam lang anya namin na ganun, hugas kamay, nagpunsyo Pilato na sila. Kaya sabi nito, Army Executives, no DepEd Fund certification if we had known actual use. Yan kasi. O, di damay-damay na kayo. Magsabi na lang kayo ng totoo para yung dapat managot ay mapanagot. Magtestigo kayo ng maayos. Huwag pagtatakpan kung sinong gusto ninyong pagtakpan. So sabi dito po, we all closely monitor the program of Youth Leadership Summit to ensure that it is multi-stakeholder anya and it fits the objectives of the program. So we have personal knowledge. So we can go around in each barangay, but they have, since they use the budget from the Philippine Army. Oh, you see? We have after activity reports, fund utilization reports, pictures and documentations. Malinaw po, ang ginamit na budget from the Philippine Army. They use the budget from the Philippine Army. Kaya sabi po ni Congresswoman Luistro, you mentioned earlier, Colonel Boransing, you are using the funds of the Philippine Army? You confirm that? Are you sure? But the 8 Youth Leader Summit that were conducted, you use the fund of the Philippine Army? Luistro asked. Sagot ni Boransing po, yes, Mr. Chair, for our participants, we use the Philippine Army. The 40 students use the local government unit funds, Mr. Chair. Sabi po ni Boransing, booking mga kababayan yung paggamit ng confidential funds. So, humingi sila ng certification. Yun pala po, mga kababayan, para ma-justify yung pag-release ng confidential funds. Pero ang ginamit, hindi man yung confidential funds doon sa activity, kundi yung pondo rin ng Army. Nakita na ninyo kung paano sinalamang ka po? Luistro din asked the retired Major General Nolasco Mempin, a former Education Undersecretary, if it is true that DepEd did not allocate funds for the Youth Leadership Summit since it is an Armed Forces of the Philippines program. Mempin replied in the affirmative. I was asked, sabi po niya, by the office of the secretary to ask for certification coming from these units, but it is clear to them or even to me that no funds are involved, meaning no funds are released to these units. What the office of the secretary just wanted to know is the product or the result of the collaboration of various stakeholders, including DepEd, with regards to our youth. So it is clear that DepEd has not released any single centavo to the conduct of YLS. Sabi po ni Mempin, wala mang ni-release. Kumuha lang ng certification na nag-release sila ng kwarta. Nakita na ninyo mga kababayan, booking na booking. Now you know kung bakit ayaw ni Inday, pinipigil ni Inday. Gusto niyang ipaterminate yung investigation at saka pinagbawalan niya yung kanyang mga executives na pumunta para matanong sa congressional inquiry. May mga in-invite, magaling yung ating mga congressmen, may mga in-invite na wala sa control niya, yung armed forces. And other officials niya dati, pumunta rin, na booking ngayon. Nilaglag si Inday, ni Mempin. Sabi dito, if you are saying, General Mempin, that no DepEd funds were used for the Youth Leadership Summits, where did you spend the 15 million? Sabi po ni Luistro. Sagot ni Mempin, hindi ako aware, was not aware of it because his task was just to coordinate. Ugas sa kamay na po, nagmamaang-maanga na po. Alangan man hindi niya alam na intentional yung salamangka. To be candid about it, the commanders of Colonel Boransing, Colonel Panopio, and Lieutenant Colonel Sagdaan are my former colleagues or classmates in the Philippine Military Academy, sabi ni Mempin. So Luistro then turned to COA, which confirmed that
the acknowledgement receipts used by DepEd to show how the 15 million confidential funds was spent referred to the Youth Leaders Summit. Nagets na ninyo? Nag-release, pinalabas nila na ginamit yung confidential funds pero hindi man talaga ginamit kasi yung pondo na ginamit sa paggastos sa Youth Leaders Summits galing sa pondo ng Philippine Army at ng LGU. Di saan napunta, mga kababayan, yung pera. Alams na dis kung saan napunta, nalunok. Sabi dito, Mr. Chair, I want to ask audit team leader Attorney Gloria Camora, is my understanding correct that in the AOM or Audit Observation Manual, there is a disallowance worth 75 million pesos. Out of the 75 million, you are asking for supporting documents of the 15 million, which were paid as rewards to informers. Tanong ni Luestro, sagot naman ni Camora, yung taga-COA, yes. In response to the supporting documents niya, that DepEd submitted this certification about the Youth Leader Summits, is this correct? Luestro asked. In other words, this certification submitted by the Armed Forces officers are being used as justification for the 15 million utilization paid as reward to informers? Correct? Camora again replied in the affirmative. Anya, so ginamit lang yung certification, mga kababayan. Ganon katindi. So Luis Torre reminded the DepEd officials that public office anya is a public trust. These confidential funds anya are public funds. We all of us are accountable to the Filipino citizens. I do not understand why these people who are supposed to explain the 15 million pesos are totally unaware of the same, because they are saying that they never use the DepEd fund and what they use is the fund of the armed forces. Sukol na sukol po. Kumpirmado. Pakinggan natin, mga kababayan, yung porsyon ng pagtatanong ni Congresswoman Luistro.
Mayroon pong pinapa-explain ang COA na 15 million.
Si General
This is
Mentin.
about payment of reward to informers, and then in response, nag-submit po ang DepEd ng 4 na certification. General Mentin, can you please enlighten us? What are these certifications all about?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, the certification that I was asked to coordinate with commanders on the area with regards to the conduct of the Youth Leadership Summit are present here. And I was just asked to get the feedback from these units of the Army in particular of how they conduct the Youth Leadership Summit in their respective area and how effective it in securing or ensuring that these student out of school youth and even indigenous peoples, youth of indigenous peoples are protected, no? Because that's one of the thrust of also of Department of Education, that our youth be able to be a productive citizens of our country.
Thank you. Now let us go to Colonel Boransing. Colonel Boransing, there is a certification here signed by you, I suppose. This is dated January 1, 2024. You are certifying about the 8 activities for the Youth Leadership Summit with 531 participants, as well as information education campaign with 53 activities and 9,428 participants. Do you confirm this?
Colonel Boransing, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I confirm that, Mr. Chair.
I observe that the certification is addressed to to whom it may concern. And then, at the end of the body, it says, for the commander. Kanino ho ba talaga naka-address itong certification na ito, Colonel?
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'd like to explain about the certification.
Please continue,
Yes,
Colonel
this,
Boranding.
our job, the First Infantry Division covers the whole of Zamboanga Peninsula and both Lanao provinces.
Mr. Chair, with all due respect, Colonel,
Yes, I was.
I have a limited time, so kindly give a responsive answer to the questions that are being raised. Ang tanong ko po, Colonel, kanino ho ba naka-address itong certification? Sa taas po, to whom it may concern. Sa baba, for the commander.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this was asked by the DepEd, and this is our standard format. For
May
all,
we know who in particular in DepEd asked for this certification?
USEC Mempin.
USEC Mempi.
Yes, Mr. Chair. And that is the standard certification because of our multi-stakeholder activities on the ground. A lot of other agencies ask for certifications. Like for instance, during the Youth Leadership Summits, we get a lot of lectures from other agencies and they ask certifications. So this is our standard certifications we issued to all agencies who ask for it. So,
Colonel, you mentioned about the Youth Leadership Summit.
yes,
Can you
Mr.
please
Chair.
name some of your resource speakers during these times?
Yes, Mr. Chair. First of all, we have on criminality, we have resource persons from the Philippine National Police.
Can you please name names?
Yes, we usually have the Chief of Police of the municipality.
Please be specific, Colonel.
Okay, ma'am. So the ones that conducted the Youth Leadership Summit, ma'am, are line units, infantry battalions under us. So we
Kindly
have,
give names, please.
yes, the Chief of Police. For example, Mr. Chair, if I may, the
Walang
Youth Leadership
mapangalanan,
Summit,
parang-
August 7 to 9 August 2023, conducted in Barangay Poblacion, Badaya,
Kaduda-duda.
Maging Lanao del Sur.
Mr.
Hindi man
Chair, there
sinasagot.
are 8 Youth Leadership Summit. So at the very least, I'm expecting 8 names who were the resource speakers during that time.
Yes, ma'am,
Tinatanong
if
yung pangalan.
may continue to read it, ma'am, it's in the report.
Kindly limit the answer,
Please
Colonel.
continue,
to-
Yung
Colonel.
pangalan lang.
So we
Ano
have,
ba yan? Yung pangalan
we
lang.
have the Municipal Mayor of Masio, Lanao del Sur. We have
Hindi man pinapangalanan.
also,
Do you have the date also? Can you please cite the date also?
yes, ma'am, as I earlier said,
Date of YLS and then the resource speaker.
yes, ma'am. As I already said, this one is August 7 to 9, 2023. The venue was in Maging, Lanao del Sur. So we have Staff Sergeant Bacquiao, Lieutenant Colonel Miondas. We have Private De La Rosa, Lieutenant Colonel
So how
Sian.
many resource speakers do you have for every youth leadership summit?
It depends on the commanders. For instance, in local terrorist groups, where in Lanao, it can range anywhere from 5 to 10.
Is that the first, the one dated August? That's your first YSL?
YLS.
YLS.
For 2023, the first one was in May. It was in Zamboanga del Sur province.
2023, the first one was May.
Yes.
And then,
Then we have the second one is 16 June 2023. This was in Lanao del Sur, the municipality of Bubong.
and then the third,
We have July 26 for the 44th Infantry Battalion in Cabasalan, Zamboanga, Sibugay Province, Mr. Chair. Then we
fifth?
have July 29 in the Dikkilaan National High School, Iligan City.
sixth,
Then on September 29, we have in Barangay Pugan, Concepcion, Misamis Occidental. Then December 12, we had in Barangay D1, Dipolog City, Zamboanga del Norte. And as I earlier mentioned, another one in Zamboanga del Sur, this time in Dumingag municipality, ma'am. So those are 8 that were conducted in the various areas.
Mr. Chair, with the manifestation of Colonel Boransing, I respectfully move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to the head of the schools. Are they schools?
No, ma'am. Not all of them are schools. One is Digkalaan.
So what are they if they are not schools?
Like for instance, the first one last May was conducted in a barangay, in a sitio, ma'am. So
Mr. Chair, I am moving for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum either to head of the school or barangay, which became the recipient of the Youth Leadership Summit conducted by Colonel Boransing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's go to...
There's a motion by Honorable Congressman Luistro to issue a subpoena duces tecum to the head of school or barangay,
Second, Mr. Chair.
subject to the
YLS.
Youth Leadership Summit conducted by Colonel Boransing. Is there any
Second, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded by Honorable Flores. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
May we request as well, Mr. Chair, that the documents in the possession of Colonel Boransing, which I believe pertains to the Youth Leadership Summit, be submitted to the committee?
Mr. Chair, according to the Freedom of Information Act, since these are confidential, we can share it, but if we follow the Act, the Philippine Army or the General Headquarters Armed Forces would like to ask a written request from the committee, which is according to the Freedom of Information Act. Then we will provide.
COMSEC is requested to draft a letter
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
as requested by Colonel Boransing. Please continue, Congressman Luistro.
Mr. Chair, I wish to direct the next question to Lieutenant Sangdaan. Lieutenant, kindly occupy one of the seats.
Have you taken your oath, Lieutenant?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Sangdaan, I have here a certification which bears your signature, I suppose. This is about the 22 activities for the Youth Leadership Summit and 49 activities for the Information Education Campaign. This was held in the provinces of Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur as well as La Union. Do you confirm this certification?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
And the certification, similar to the one issued by Colonel Boransing, is addressed to whom it may concern on the upper part and then on the lower part for the commander. For the record, Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan, kanino niyo po ba talaga ina-address itong certification?
Lieutenant
Yes, ma'am, to
Sandaan,
the
please.
DepEd, ma'am.
And can you be particular? Sino po sa DepEd?
Ma'am, can I just give the background, ma'am? That was the instruction of
I-
my commander, and according to my commander, it was Major General Mempin who
Okay,
requested.
you answered the question already.
Yes, ma'am.
And similar to the questions which I raised to Colonel Boransing, do
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have also some documents with you which can provide details about the recipient of this 22 Youth Leadership Summit?
Ma'am, right now, ma'am, I don't have the documents because I am no longer with the 5th Infantry Division, ma'am.
I'm already reassigned to GHQ. But I assure you, ma'am, that
You can
there are
produce.
documents.
You can produce.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I just state for the record, Mr. Chair, that Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan manifested his commitment to submit the document about the 22 activities for Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes, ma'am. Just like what Colonel Boransing have said a while ago, ma'am. I think it's much better for the...
Yes, we will. We
Yes,
will,
ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yes,
What is
The
important,
manifestation
Lieutenant
of
Colonel?
Colonel Sangdahan for the committee to write a letter. Yun po ba yung gusto ninyo?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
The
Mr. Chair.
COMSEC is requested to please, is directed to please write a letter requesting for the documents as requested by Congresswoman Luistro.
Noted,
Please,
Your Honor.
please continue, Congresswoman Luistro.
But at least, Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan, can you name some of those 22 activities? Yung naaalala nyo lang po, because this is quite a lot compared to the one which Colonel Boransing had. He had only 8. You had 22.
Ma'am, actually, these YLS were conducted by the line units of the 5th Infantry Division, sir. Ma'am, just like the 501st Brigade, the 5th CMO Battalion, and other infantry battalions in the area, ma'am. As to the specific of which, ma'am, hindi ko na ma-remember, ma'am.
You mentioned which infantry division conducted this?
5th Infantry Division.
Saan po ba kayo kasama? Sa 5th po ba?
5th Infantry Division, ma'am, as a staff of the 5th Infantry Division, ma'am.
As one of the staff of the 5th
Yes.
Infantry Division. But I suppose that since you were the one who certified, you're supposed to have a personal knowledge of what happened.
We base it on our records, ma'am, on our tabulated records.
Do you intend to tell us, Lieutenant Colonel, that you were not the one who actually conducted this Youth Leadership Summit?
Yes, ma'am. The line units, ma'am, were the one who conducted those activities.
If it is not you, then who?
The different battalions, ma'am. For example, ma'am, the 77th IB, the 5th CMO Battalion, the...
Bakit po kayo ang nag-issue ng certification?
We have the tabulated data, ma'am.
Yes, I understand. But for one to be able to issue a certification, dapat alam nyo. Dapat may knowledge kayo.
Yes, ma'am.
As a matter of fact, this is an inquiry in aid of legislation. You were sworn in before we started the hearing, and this will elevate the status of being a sworn certification already.
Yes, ma'am.
Bakit po kayo nag-issue ng certification kung wala kayong personal knowledge? Nag-certify kayo, may 22 Youth Leadership Summit, tapos hindi nyo po ito personally nalalaman. Is that what you wanted to say?
We have personal knowledge, ma'am, because we have it in our data, ma'am, that the different line units...
You are aware of the data only,
Oh, sir, that are
but
different...
not of the occurrence. Magkaiba po yun.
Ganon din, ma'am, sa occurrence, ma'am.
You are
That
aware of the occurrence as well.
Yes, ma'am, that it was really conducted.
Okay, balikan po ulit natin yung question ko. Name some of the Youth Leadership Summit that you conducted, if you are aware of the occurrence.
Just like in San Mariano, Isabela, ma'am, we have conducted the YLS there,
Barangay po iyan,
municipal, ma'am.
municipal. Ang recipient po natin, sino? Sino pong audience nyo doon? Sino pong participants?
The youth from the municipality of San Mariano, there were participants from the students in San Mariano and even out of school youth.
Okay. Any
Yes, ma'am.
other? Any other YLS that you can recall?
As reported by line units, ma'am, also in Baguio City,
You are basing your testimony, Lieutenant Colonel, on the report. Tama po ba?
Yes,
That's what
ma'am.
you said.
yes, ma'am.
And this will only mean that you are not aware of the occurrence. If the statement that you're giving to us is based on the report and not on the personal knowledge of the occurrence, then you have no personal knowledge of how it happened.
I'm aware, ma'am, that it
You
was
are
really
aware of the
conducted.
data, you are aware that it happened, but you were not personally there.
Yes, yes,
You did not participate.
yes, ma'am. We only provided some speakers as requested by the concerned unit.
How about this 22 that you mentioned in your certification? Ito ba na-attendan mo lahat?
No, ma'am. Honestly, ma'am, no.
Ilan out of 22 ang na-attendan mo, Lieutenant Colonel?
I think only in San Mariano, ma'am.
Only in San
Ma'am,
Mariano.
can I give a background on...
Kowa, may I just make a manifestation? How can you validate an accomplishment report with a certification? The signatory has no personal knowledge of what happened. Lieutenant Colonel was able to attend only 1 out of 22 Youth Leadership Summit. And this is okay with COA? I'm sorry, but I do not understand. Colonel Boransing, if I may call you again, yun pong 8, ilan ang na-attendan nyo doon?
Colonel Boransing.
Remate?
Out of 8
Remate na
youth
ba?
leaderships, ilan po yung na-attendan nyo?
Colonel Boransing, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was only able to attend one.
So that means that you have no personal knowledge as well
I have
of all the 8 youth leadership summit that happened.
I have personal knowledge of this, ma'am. Mr. Chair, if I may explain lang po, the structure of my position is I'm the G7 of the Infantry Division. So the Infantry Division has 3 infantry brigades. They control 3, one has 4 provinces, the other has 1 province, and the other brigade has 1 province. So I am in charge of supervising. I am the Civil Military Operations Officer, Mr. Chair. So I closely monitor, we all closely monitor the program of the Youth Leadership Summit to ensure that it is multi-stakeholder and it fits the objectives of the program. So we have personal knowledge. We can't go around in each barangay, but they have, since we used budget from the Philippine Army, we have after-activity reports, fund utilization reports, pictures and documentations. And we have to ensure this because we have a yearly inspection from higher headquarters. So we may not have been there, but we have personal knowledge. We are the program managers of this book.
You mentioned a while ago, Colonel Boransing,
Yes.
you were using the fund of the Philippine Army. You confirm that?
Yes, Mr.
Are you sure?
Sir. Yes, Mr. Chair.
For the 8 YLS
Yes,
that
Mr.
were
Chair.
conducted, you used the fund of the Philippine Army.
For our participants, we used the Philippine Army. For the students, they used the local government unit funds, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that is clear. Mr. Chair, I just wish to manifest
Holy po?
the statement of Colonel Boransing that during the Youth Summit, for the military,
Holy po?
they are using their military fund, and for the children or the youth, they are using the LGU fund.
Duplication po?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please continue.
Duplication, malinaw.
Some use the provincial local government funds, and the municipalities some delegates also are using the
Nilaglag na po si Inday.
municipal LGU funds. And for the participants from the other stakeholders, from DepEd, from BIDEA, from the police, of course, they use their own funds.
You see?
So it's really a multi-stakeholder.
In other
youth
words,
fund.
Mr. Chair, a lot of offices and agencies are using their respective funds for intelligence in conducting the Youth Leadership Summit. This is your statement, Colonel Buransing.
I didn't say intelligence funds, ma'am. What I said was, like for instance, for their billeting for the hotel, they have to pay from their own agency funds. For their food, they have to pay po.
What is
Malinaw.
clear, there are different offices
Involved.
who shoulder their expenses
So sana
for the
konta
purpose
yung
of
confidential funds ni
Youth
Inday.
Leadership Summit.
Hindi mo
Tama?
pala ginamit.
In other
Kasi
words,
yung ginamit po, yung
it is
sarili
not
nilang pondo.
only the DepEd
Yes, Mr. Chair.
who spends its confidential fund.
I have no knowledge of what
Sa lamang
their
ka
source of
talaga po.
funding is.
But in as far as you are concerned, kanya-kanyang gastos ang
Kita
iba't
mo?
ibang opisina.
KKP po.
And for the
KKP.
children, the youth, you said it is being shouldered by the LGU. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Colonel. May we request Lieutenant Colonel Panopio?
Colonel Panopio, you are recognized.
Booking na booking po
Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
yung paggamit ni Inday ng
Colonel,
confidential
I have
funds.
with me
Hindi man
another
nangyari.
certification bearing the signature
Pero,
of Magtanggol
konsyong-
Panopio. Is this your signature?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr.
Pinalabas
Chairman.
pong ginamit,
On the
pero hindi man
certification,
totoo.
You certified 205 youth students from different schools. 3 youth leadership summits held in the provinces of Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, and Zambales. You confirm this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
And similar to my question to Colonel Buransing and the other Lieutenant Colonel, nakalagay po sa certification nyo, to whom it may concern, to sa taas, sa baba, for the commander. Kanino po ba talaga naka-address itong certification nyo?
This is addressed to DepEd, ma'am. May I explain for the commander, ma'am?
And can you please kindly be particular, who in DepEd? Ang dami po nila sa DepEd. Sino po sa DepEd ang kausap nyo when you submitted this certification?
Yusek Nolasco Pimpin, ma'am.
That's Yusek Mempin. Okay. And can you please substantiate as well the 3 youth leadership summit that you conducted in your province? Ikaw ba nakaparticipate dito?
Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, hindi po kami nag-participate specifically because as a staff, we are just supervising and monitoring the activities of the Youth Leadership Summit.
So
because-
similar to Colonel Buransing, you are just aware of the occurrence, but you were not part of the event.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the expenditures for similar programs, would you confirm the statement of Colonel Buransing na
Yes,
ang
Your
mga
Honor.
opisinang participants ay kanya-kanya ng gastos?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the participating children and students thereat, tama po ba yung sinabi ni Colonel Buransing, LGU ang sumusuporta sa expenses nila?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Are you sure?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Can we recall Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan?
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel, tanungin ko lang po yung pagdating sa expenditure. Do you confirm the statement of Colonel Buransing? Kanya-kanya ng gastos lahat ng opisina.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And with respect to the children and the youth, it is the LGU
The
who
LG,
support the expenses.
yes, ma'am, through their PAPS plan, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I am done with Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. I wish to proceed to Major Dombrigue. Major Dombrigue.
Major Dombriting, you are recognized. Have you taken your oath, Major?
Major, meron po kayo ditong submission prepared by you, certified by Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. This is about the Joint 7th Infantry Division DepEd Anti-Insurgency Campaign from January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023. Do you confirm, Major, na ang sinertify niyo po dito ay 313 insurgency awareness and 166 posted social media products?
Good afternoon po. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Chair. Through that data was based on the reports of our line units.
Ang kasama po dito, Brigada Eskwela, insurgency awareness, environmental protection, shared and posted social media products. And then you also have number of health-related activities. Ang dami po nito, Major. Tanong, saan po nanggagaling yung pondong ginagamit nyo for all of this?
Ma'am, most of that funds was under the PAPs on the APB of our line units.
Ano po yung PAPs? Please enlighten us.
Projects, activities, and programs po.
And can you please tell us which agency is this?
In particular, ma'am, is the Philippine Army in collaborations with our partner stakeholders on the ground.
In other words, similar to the statement of the 3 prior officers, yung mga activities nyo, ang gumagastos is the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tama po ba?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And as far as your counterpart is concerned, tama po?
Opo, ma'am.
At paano nyo po ba ginagawa itong anti-insurgency awareness?
Ma'am, Your Honor, in partnership with the different schools and local government units, our line units is conducting intensified information awareness drives on security awareness, ma'am.
How about the social media posts? Paano nyo po ba ginagawa to?
Utilizing the social media platforms of our infantry divisions and our line units, ma'am, we cross-post social media products of the AFP units and to include, ma'am, the other agency social media products.
Rough estimate lang po, Major. Sa tingin nyo po itong mga reported activities nyo na to, total of 9,712, the activities I mentioned earlier. If you're aware, mga magkano po ang nagastos na pondo ng AFP dito?
Ma'am, with that figure, the number of anti-insurgency flyers distributed, a very minimal expenses lang po dahil printed flyers lang po ito dun with the bond paper po.
You're saying
our awareness
minimal.
drive.
You're saying minimal. Minimal expense. You said that?
Yes, ma'am.
And it will no way reach 15 million. Tama?
Hindi po, ma'am.
Hindi.
Hindi po.
No way.
No way.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, gusto ko pong balikan si General Mempin.
General Mempin, you are
I'm about to
recognized.
wrap up, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
General, kanina po sabi nyo, hindi nyo alam yung confidential fund.
Yeah,
You
that's
still
correct.
confirm that?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr.
But
Chair.
I hope you understand that the certifications which I confirm from the AFP officers, the 4 of them, pertains to the expenditure of 15 million taken from the confidential fund. And according to them, those certifications were required by you.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, actually I was
Sokol na yung
asked by
official
the
leader.
Officer of the Secretary to ask for certification coming from these units. But it is clear to them or even to me that no funds are involved, meaning no funds released to these units. What the Office of the Secretary is wanted to know is the product or the result of the
Sokol na
collaboration
sokol po,
of
si
various
General.
Stakeholders,
Official
including
leader
DepEd
siya.
with regards
Yusek.
to our youth. So it is clear, ma'am, that DepEd has not released any single centavo to the conduct of wireless to the units mentioned, ma'am, Your Honor, and Mr. Chair.
If you are saying, General Mempin, na walang nirelease na pondo ang DepEd dito po sa Youth Leadership Summits,
Nilaglag na
saan po
sinday.
ginastos yung 15 million?
That's Your Honor, Mr. Chair. That was I was not aware of it because the task given to me is just to coordinate.
Nag-deny na po.
Because
Di niya daw
to
alam.
be candid about it, the commanders of Colonel Buransing, Colonel Panopio,
Nag-Poncio Pilato na po si
Lieutenant
Mempin.
Colonel Sangdaan are my former colleagues or classmates in the Philippine Military Academy.
Mr. Chair, I wish to ask the COA, Attorney Camora, tama ba ang understanding ko? Sa AOM, may disallowance na 75 million. Out of 75 million, you are asking for supporting documents of the 15 million which were paid as rewards
Na
to
corner po
informers.
si Mempin.
Attorney Camora, you are recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And in response to that supporting documents, the DepEd submitted these certifications about the Youth Leadership Summit. Tama ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
In other words, these certifications submitted by the AFP officers are being used as justification for the 15 million utilization paid as reward to informers. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Confirm.
General
Cornel?
Mempin, your statement is completely contradictory to the stand and position of COA.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as I previously mentioned, the only task given to me is to coordinate to my
Iwas
colleagues
pusit
in
na
the
siya po.
active service of the
Iwas
Philippine
pusit.
Army
Iwas pusoy.
to have a report on the conduct of Youth Leadership Summit. But as to the utilization or disbursement of 15 million payment to informers, I was not made aware of it, and I have no knowledge that this certification is for the payment of informers. Your Honor and Mr. Chair.
General Mempin, I understand we also have Major General Bahaw. You have a letter here, General Bahaw. This is about the 9 Youth Leadership Summits. Kanino nyo po ito in-address?
Nauhaw bigla si Mempin.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Mr. Chair. May I be recognized?
Major General Bahaw, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ma'am, I addressed the letter to Yusek Nolasco Mempin po, updating him of the YLS conducted in my division then.
And similar to the questions that were propounded to the 3 other AFP officers, kapag ho ba nagwa-YLS kayo, sinong gumagastos?
Ma'am, sari-sariling agency po
Confirm?
na nagpa-participate dito ang gumagastos. Sa amin po, more on facilitation and security. Kami po ang gumagastos sa sarili naming mga tropa.
And with respect and the youth who are the participants, do
Sinalaman
you
ka po
confirm
yung
what they said
confidential
already? Magastos?
Yes, ma'am.
At kanina po sinabi din ni General Memphis, balikan ko si General Memphis, sabi niyo po, General, wala talagang gastos ang DepEd dito?
To
You
be
stated that kanina.
because as I was asked if the confidential funds issues for the conduct of wireless, so it's clear that
Cornel?
no funds is downloaded or given to the Philippine Army for the use of the conduct of wireless, but if confidential fund is given
General,
to informers
that is tantamount to saying na walang gastos ang DepEd sa inyo. When you said that they did not or DepEd did not download any fund to the military. Tama?
That's correct, Your
So,
Honor.
what you wanted to say, walang ginastos ang DepEd sa taga-military when it comes to the Youth Leadership Summit. Do you confirm that?
That I confirm, that's
Pero
correct.
may release
Your
ng
Honor.
confidential.
Mr. Chair, I am very much surprised, but let me wrap up and make this manifestation before I yield to the other members of the committee. While we believe that these certifications were submitted to justify the 15 million that were allegedly paid as reward to informers, now
Piki pala.
all the officers from the AFP, that includes General Memphis, the USEC for Administration, are stating that the DepEd did not utilize any of its confidential fund in support of the Youth Leadership Summit. These statements, Mr. Chair, are completely contradictory to what DepEd has made the COA believe in the submission of all these certifications. Mr. Chair, to proceed, let us all be reminded, ito pong confidential fund na ito, pera ng taong bayan. We, all of us, are accountable to the Filipino citizens. Public office is a public trust. We should be accountable to the people at all times, and I do not understand why these people who are supposed to explain the 15 million is totally unaware of the same, because they are saying that they never use the DepEd fund and what they use is the fund of the AFP. While we understand, Mr. Chair, that confidential fund by its nature is not encouraged to be scrutinized, there is nothing under the law that prohibits the same as well. There are important observations, Mr. Chair. Number one, among all civilian agencies, DepEd is one of the very few with confidential fund. Two, DepEd had this confidential fund only in 2023 and never in prior time. Three, I hope we can show also that while the DND, which has a mandate to address the national security, has 37 million confidential fund only, the Department of National Defense has 37 million. The DepEd, which mandate does not include national security, has 150 million confidential fund. Mr. Chair, to continue, while the police, the AFP officers already denied this YLS, having been supported by DepEd, 15.54 million po ang amount that the DepEd is trying to justify in making use of the certifications that were submitted by the AFP. Number 5, Mr. Chair, prior to 2016, pag ang pinag-usapan po natin ay Youth Leadership Summit, It is the AFP who leads, and they just coordinate with DepEd. But on the report that was given by COA, it seems to appear that the one leading the Youth Leadership Summit is the DepEd in coordination with AFP. Paligtad po ito. Number 6, Mr. Chair, I do not want to preempt any conclusion. However, Mr. Chair, General Mempin spent 2017 to 2023 of his AFP career in Davao City and Davao Region. During this time, the former president is the president and our vice president is the mayor. During those time, Mr. Chair, Davao City, while it is authorized to have and to utilize confidential fund, I believe has one of the highest confidential fund among the LGUs in the entire country. I hope the Secretariat can produce the data. I wish to ask, Mr. Chair, ito bang lahat ng ito ay coincidences? Given this observation, let us all be reminded that the leeway that is being given to confidential fund is to be able to address a very important concern, and that is national security of the country. No more, no less. The procurement and the liquidation were made liberal in recognition of the significance of the purpose of the confidential fund. However, Mr. Chair, if there are glaring indications of irregularity already, as those that we have mentioned, plus the admission of the AFP, is it not that COA should address its mandate of making sure that all receipts and all expenditures are duly accounted for the Filipino people? Question number 1. Since when has irregularity in confidential fund been happening? 2. What has COA done so far with respect to its accounting rules in order to address the irregularity? And 3. Will COA simply brush aside these irregularities, especially with the admission of the AFP that they were the one who spent for the 15 million Youth Leadership Summit and not the Department of Education? Let us remember, regardless of which office in the government we belong, public trust always carries accountability. To tone down the mood of our investigation at para mas maintindihan po ako ng mga tao, mayroon hong prominent na line sa pelikulang Star Wars. Ang sabi, comes with great power is great responsibility. If you translate this to constitutional language, let us all be reminded, public office is a public trust. The trust that is given to us by the people carries with it due accountability. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very well said, mga kababayan. Mabuhay si Congresswoman Luistro ng Batangas. Napakatalino. Ito yung bagay na maging senador. A brilliant congresswoman. Sa mga naghanap ng malinis and spacious fitness gym, pumunta lang po kayo sa aming Colossal Fitness Gym. We also offer Grab Car Rental with our brand new 2023 model ng Toyota Innova. We also accept booking for those who are planning to travel via PAL, Cebu Pacific, and other airline companies, local and international, and bills payment for Meralco bills, PLDT, Aleco bills, etc. Ang Colossal Fitness Gym is located at 3rd floor Security Bank Building, Landco Business Park, Legazpi City, Albay. For inquiries, look for Bjillon Maravillas. Contact number 0966-802-0949. Yan yung aming Innova. Lagi na pong matao sa amin. Pati mga foreigners po, tingnan ninyo. Mga British tourists sila. Ang lalaki ng katawan na, mga kababayan, nag-gym sa amin. Ito naman po, Indian National. Ito mga mga European sila. Ito naman yung bago naming product na binibenta online, Eye Glow Serum. Whitening po siya galing sa South Korea. Tingnan ninyo yung epekto sa aking anak na architect entrepreneur, Riz Maravillas. For inquiries, look for Riz Maravillas on FB. Ito naman po, Firmax Framing and Lifting Cream. Pinapahid po ito sa mga pulses and affected area. Mainam po ito sa mga pains at paninigas na mga kaso-kasuan. Ito po, Automax Radiant Serum. Sa mukha naman yung application. Anti-aging po siya. You will look 10 years younger than your age. Sa mga cancer patients naman po, baka lang gusto ninyo itong itry. Nengxia Red Mixed Fruit Drink. Hindi man po siya gamot, food supplement siya. Kaya lang, gawa siya mga kababayan sa goji berry. Yung goji berry may anti-cancer properties. Yung mga inquiries ninyo, dumiritso na lang kayo sa aming messenger sa Facebook para masagot namin agad. Ayos po, ako po si Dante Maravillas. Bye-bye. God bless.